Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Tuesday, August 22nd, and it is day 21 in the Big Brother house. So we're just under the 80-day mark, right? Got 79 days to go, roughly. Yeah, it's going to be a long haul. It's just, So anyways, what's happened in the Big Brother house? In the Big Brother house yesterday, we had the Power of Veto meeting, and we did indeed see Hisam nominated in Jag's place. There was some major drama right before the actual meeting where Felicia really got right in Jag's face, and basically, because the agreement was to put up Hisam, but Felicia was just like, you've been lying to me, and I'm not going to do this if you guys are going to, screw up, end up putting me up next week. There's this understanding in theory about who's going to go next week. It's like, these are all promises that are made that cannot be kept unless things go exactly the same way. So it's Felicia. She's very bold, very upfront, very in your face, and she did it to Jag. Jag calmed things down. He talked his way out of things. She accused him of lying and being dishonest, and he kind of talked his way out. It's kind of one of those hypocritical things where Felicia's being dishonest with them too. She's just the one with the power, and so she was calling out people and accusing people. It's all right. These are things that may or may not ever make the TV show, because that's how it goes. It would make for an interesting story if they decided to take the time and have the time to do it. However, chances are, I have mentioned that Jag's in the chicken costume, right? Chances are they'll spend more time showing Jag in the chicken costume than they will, the actual strategy and stuff goes on. The TV show becomes more and more an entertainment show for kids and less about the actual strategy that's going on. I appreciate those of you that listen to this to understand everything that's going on that you don't see. And what you don't see is possibly that. They may show it because it would be a good way to make people think that Felicia wasn't going to put up Jag. But she does in the end. So it was kind of comical in some ways, sadly comical perhaps, for fans of Hisam, in that he was just very calm, cool, collected, not fazed in the slightest about anything, and to the point where Felicia basically had to wake him up and say, hey, you need to get ready for the Power Veto meeting, because he was kind of napping at the kitchen table, and he didn't think what was going to happen was going to happen. So the feeds went down for an extended period of time. Usually it's about an hour for Power Veto, but it was down for like 2.5 hours. We don't know why. It's potential that they were doing other things. We're just not sure. But when they went down, when they came back up, it seemed it had been more... Usually when the feeds come back from the Power Veto, most of the times you will see the house guests kind of just dispersing from the living room where the Power Veto meeting was. This time, no, people were outside. Jared looked like he was asleep outside in the cot or in a lawn chair. The Hisam and I probably already said. Have I said Cerie's name yet? Cerie and maybe not Bowie. Izzy were all standing around in the kitchen, and Hisam was talking in very hushed tones, apologizing. He was obviously stunned. He didn't blow up. I thought about this, and I made a comment that, this is one of what I guess producers might say is one of the problems when you go with an older cast, depending on who the older cast is. But how you cast it, you get some people that are very calm, cool, collected, non-reactionary. I'm sure Hisam thought, it's not going to do me any good to have a blow up and yell and accuse people. I just have to analyze this and figure out what to do, and that's what he was doing. And he just was analyzing and figuring out what to do. And that's what he was like all night long. All night long he was talking to people, confronting people, working through things, exposing alliances. He's exposed the Professor Alliance. He's exposed a lot of the game that he was involved with. He doesn't know about, Suri and Jared, and he doesn't know all about that. He does know that Jared was working with them, though, and he's exposed that to some of the house. So he's really opened up some interesting lines of communication and told people things, specifically the people that he was working against up until now. He's basically gone to them and said, look, all these people went against me. I mean, they went against him too, but his attitude is, they all went against me. I thought I was working with them, and so I want to work with you because I want to stay in the house, and I was always working. And this is a bit much here. His line is that he was always doing this for the betterment of the group, although in some ways he was. But he also was targeting people within his own group, with certain members of his own group. Like, we're going to get this person next. We're working with them now, but they're next. So depending on where you were on the rankings, you were closer to his next up list, or potential cannon fodder if needed list. So, but, he's got to play the game he's got to play now, and the game he's playing now is throw the other side, throw his former alliance members to the wolves and try to work with the other alliance and promise your fealty to them, as it were. And that's what he's doing. And the only issue I see with this, if it has a chance, because remember, he's up against Cameron, who was kind of working with that group already. The only big issue I see is he talks people into a coma, right? He's kept, I think Matt and Jag were still up. I don't know if they're still up now, but they were up still in the backyard with Heisem talking at them. He doesn't talk to people. He doesn't have many conversations. He usually talks at people and lectures them, and that's not going to do him well. And while he may have valid points, he kind of keeps going and going, which is kind of what actually, I think, was it Felicia was saying to Jag? Somebody was saying to Jag, you just never let up when you were trying to save Riley. So, same kind of thing. It's like, how do you know when enough is enough? And I'm sure in Heifson's mind, he's like, I only have 3 days. And the problem here is that he doesn't need 3 days. He needs a day. He needs a day to convince them, and then that's it, so that there isn't time to re-flip, right? So he may get the house flipped. He may get the people that need to be flipped, and it may seem like today that it's all going to happen. And then on Wednesday, it will all unravel. Or Thursday morning, it'll all unravel, and he'll end up going out because they can't take a risk, and they'd rather stick with Cameron than stick with Heisem. I don't know. But what is happening is this whole large amounts of... There's been a huge data breach, right? We go into espionage. There's hacking. There's been a huge data breach. Heisem has shared a lot of information that the other side of the house didn't have, and now they're disseminating it and analyzing it. And I don't know if they'll be able to use it, but they do definitely have a better sense. I don't know how shocking. I just don't know how shocking the revelation that Jared was working with the other side of the house is to them. Probably not as shocking as it should be, because Jared will poo-poo and say, well, yeah, I was working with both sides. That's what I was doing. But I'm really with you guys. Yeah, which side of the house am I talking about? That's the question. Another thing that may or may not come up, by the way, is it sounds like the whole reason that Felicia gave to Heisem for putting him up goes back to the week before, when they talked about doing it, when Heisem talked about when America came to them and came to some of them and said, Heisem was suggesting an alliance with me, and called you guys the leftovers, right? And that's a key word. The word leftovers is a big deal to them, and they latched onto it last week, and they decided in the end not to go against Heisem's wishes and voted out Riley. But now this week they used it as a reason to put him out, and so it was America that told Corey, and Corey told the rest, told the other people, right? Told Felicia, told Suri, I think, and I may not be quite accurate on this, but the point is, it really wasn't America. She told Corey and said, you can't tell anyone, and then Corey went and told people. But let's not worry about that now. America knows all this went on. She's not holding any grudges. It's not a big deal other than it happened. And Heisem went to America, and she knew he was going to come at her and said, you were inaccurate. You told people I called them leftovers, said I was stuck with the leftovers, and that's not what happened. And she said, no, you did say that, and you're not going to. And the word gaslight, of course, is now used by tons of people. She said, I don't want you to gaslight me. And he said, I'm not gaslighting you. And those of you that don't know what gaslighting means, well, I'll maybe get into that another day. But point is, you're telling me, you're trying to convince me that the sky is green when it's really blue, because you keep telling me it's green, even though I can clearly see it's blue. He kept saying, I didn't say leftovers. And she said, no, you did. Someone went back and found the conversation that she relayed to him. This is when it happened. It was in this hammock. We were talking. You said this. I remember it clearly. You can't tell me you didn't. And I just remember it because it just stuck out of my brain. It has references to other seasons. And he said no. And someone found where he did. Now, that started a whole nother debate. If you find and I did retweet it, the video that the person posted said, here's where he said it. He did say it. He said it probably not in the same context that she took it as. He didn't say it disparagingly or insinuating. Anyways, he didn't say it exactly the way she interpreted it as, but it doesn't matter. She interpreted it the way she interpreted it. So that's how it was. That's the way she heard it, and that's the way it is. It really doesn't matter how he meant it. For people that are arguing that he's right and she's right, they're both right. He didn't say it the way she heard it, but she heard it the way she heard it, so that's all that matters, right? So that's that, and he will go down until he gets home saying, I didn't say that. And then he'll get home and see it and says, that's not what I meant. And it's like, but it doesn't matter what you meant. It's what she heard or how she chose to interpret it. That's all that matters. All right. Horse soundly beaten. So what's going on? The rest of the week, the rest of the next day and a half, or 2 days, is going to be Heisem trying to save himself and cornering people. The problem is he's going to alienate people, and they're going to be like, I cannot with him. I can't keep him for another week and have to listen to this for another week. I don't want to do it. So I think he's going to get voted out. But I think it's also going to look like he may stay for quite a while. I just think in the end they'll decide to stick with Cameron. I don't know what it's going to mean for the entire house going forward. I think production, the producers, would much rather keep Heisem because I think he's better TV than Cameron is. But they don't interfere as strongly as we like to think sometimes. But we'll have to see what happens. So that's kind of the big stuff. I mean, it was interesting TV. It was interesting watching. But there was only so much of it. Oh, the feeds were down for like another 2.5 hours last night while I wasn't paying attention because I made a video. And when it came back, they had some kind of a pizza party for some reason. We don't know the reason why. It may eventually come out. Maybe it was we survived the hurricane. The sun was out yesterday, by the way, when they got in the backyard. So they're fine now, as far as there's no problems in the house or anything, and there doesn't seem to have been any damage to the backyard or anything. But that's the feeds. We just didn't know why the feeds were down. But I happened to be grinding through a video. One of the people I follow posted a little clip of Felicia talking to Jag. This was part of her whole inquisition of Jag. So I think it was Suri, Jag, Izzy, Felicia in the have-not room, and she was walking around in her robe yesterday, and she was cornering Jag and talking to him, and it was very much like a mob boss kind of a thing. It was very, heavy-handed. And at one point, Jared comes into the room and he has sunglasses on, and then he turns around and goes right around and walks back out. And it was just the angle of the shot. And this is why the guy captured the video was because she looked over her shoulder and says, go sit with those guys and see what the hell they're up to, kind of a thing, and keep an eye on them. And it just sounded like a mob boss giving an order to a minion, and he walked out, out of the room, and that was the whole clip. But I watched it and I just thought, oh man, this could, like, you could set this to to music, or to do. I already did it with Godfather once with this season with Izzy, and it's like, oh, this is another one of those instances. And there's a show called Godfather of Harlem that's been out. It's like, has it been out for 3 seasons, I think, or my wife and I watched it this summer, and it's really good. And it was just like, oh man, use the Godfather of Harlem music to this, and portray Izzy as the godfather, as the godmother of Big Brother. I changed it to Big Bro, but so I made this video and posted it, and it was funny. I liked it. I'm probably going to end up retweeting it at the back of this. Well, maybe not on this, because this will be a podcast link, but I'll probably retweet it today because I want to see it get a little bit of tits. I mean, I literally spent probably over the course of the night, 2.5 hours on this thing, which is only a minute long. And that's nothing, of course, as long as what real video production takes. But I did all this, and so I'm gonna be a bit naggy with people and say, look at this, share this, because yeah, it's always fun when you see a lot of people watching something you've made. So I'm going to do that, and hope you take a look at it and listen to it. It's fun. I think it's a whole minute. Stay through to the end. There's actually a little thing at the very end, so you should make sure not to cut it out. But it uses the theme song from The Godfather of Harlem. And yeah, that's it. So with that, I'm going to sign off, guys. I hope you're having a good week so far. This is, again, one of the couple of busiest weeks of the year for me. So I apologize if I am not sharing as much on the Twitterverse. Folks that are in Blue Skies that may hear this, I have not been very good on Blue Skies lately. But and I definitely apologize for this. People that are on other formats, I'm not doing anything on those. So I have my account there, but I have not posted anything on Mastodon or Post.news or Spoutable. Nope, I'm not posting anything on those right now. Just don't even have the time or energy to be across that many different platforms. So that's it. We're good for now. Have a good day. Thank you to my patrons. I need to give you guys a shout out this week. And finally, if you are interested in becoming a patron, my almost thing plug would be to go to patreon.com/bbgossip and sign up, and I will be eternally grateful. All right. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.